Hi guys, what's going on? It's your girl T.I.E here, which stands for Together Individual Entertainment, coming to you with another double story. That's right. As you know, today is October 21st, and that means we are 10 days away from Halloween. That's why I'm doing a double story, because it's countdown to Halloween. But for now, we got to get into our next chapter of the story. And I think we did chapter 10 yesterday, I believe. And today I do believe we are on chapter 11 because of the fact that, well, I've been trying to keep track of things, but it may not be easy, but I'm trying. Alright, so, chapter 11, or else. In the book, Haunted Castle on Hallows Eve, Magic Tree House, book number 30 from Mary Pope Osborne. Alright. Chapter 11, or else. Jack and Annie were too stunned to speak. Staring at the bizarre creature, Jack remembered the story of the Raven King, how the king had wanted to be a bird, how he had stolen a spell from a wizard of winter, how the spell had worked only halfway and left him half bird and half human. The Raven King jumped from the window to the floor. One by one, the Raven bodyguards swooshed into the room after him. At least 20 ravens came through the window soon. See what I mean? That's what we call a humanoid in my case. Jack and Annie were surrounded by dark wings, sharp beaks, and bright eyes. Once his guards were in place, the Raven King twisted his head from side to side, looking from Jack to Annie. "Where are the two ravens who stole my diamond?" he asked in a raspy voice. "What diamond?" asked Annie. Oh boy. He doesn't know. What ravens?" asked Jack, his voice trembling. He wished desperately that he still had the diamond of destiny to give him strength and courage. "The ravens that came to this castle after raiding my treasure room," said the Raven King. "Where are they hiding?" Jack tried to imagine that he was still holding the diamond. "We don't know anything about the diamond. We don't know anything about them," he said in a low, steady voice. Pretending to hold the diamond actually made him feel brave. "You don't know anything about them," said the Raven King. "No," said Jack. "You must have the wrong castle." The wrong castle?" said the Raven King. "Yes," said Jack. "Perhaps you're right," the Raven King. "But you are certain you haven't seen them? They look very much like this little one here." The Raven threw his cape over his shoulder and held up an iron bird cage. A raven was held inside. "Oh, that's Teddy! Oh my gosh, he got him!" "Jaw! Uck! Me!" And the raven crowed. "Teddy!" cried Annie. "His name is Teddy?" said the Raven King. "How charming! I've caught a Teddy. I think he'll make a wonderful pet, don't you?" Jack was horrified to see Teddy trapped in the Raven King's cage. "It's not charming," he said. "It's cruel. You better let him go, or else." "Yeah, let him go," said Annie. "Or else." "Or else," said the Raven King. "Or else what?" With backward jerks of his head, he laughed a raspy laugh. As the king laughed, Jack glanced at the floor under the window. He saw the hazel twig. He moved toward it. The Raven King caught sight of him. His laugh stopped abruptly. "Cree-caw!" he croaked to one of his bodyguards. Jack dashed for the twig, but before he could grab it, the king's bodyguard had swooped across the floor and picked up the twig in its beak. As the raven carried it to the top of the window, Jack noticed that one of his tail feathers was bent. "Jack, look, it's Rock," said Annie. She called up to the bird. "Rock! Rock!" From the perch above the window, the raven looked down at Annie. "Rock, it's me, Annie," she said. "I helped you when the people in the village threw stones at you, remember?" "What nonsense!" croaked the Raven King. "Bring me the sick bird." Rock didn't move, gripping the hazel twig in his beak. He stared down at Annie. Give the twig to Jack, Rock, she said, so he could turn Teddy back into a boy. So that ugly little stick is a magic wand, is it? Said Raven King. Bring it to me, Bird, now. Don't do it, Rock, Sammy. Don't let him boss you around anymore. The Raven stared at Annie for a moment. With the dark brown eyes, he looked at the Raven King. He looked back at Annie. Then he swooped down to Jack and dropped the hazel twig at his feet. Jack grabbed it. Traitor! The Raven King shrieked at Rock. You'll pay for this! He lunged toward the Raven. Rock tried to escape, but the king grabbed him by the throat. Jack had to save Rock. He pointed the twig at the Raven King back and shouted, Oh, hazel twig from hazel tree! Make him what he wanted to be! A deafening wind roared through the room. A blinding light flashed. Then all was clear. The Raven King had vanished. His cave lay on the floor. Rock hopped away. Unharmed from under the feather cake came a hoarse cry. Ugh! And he lifted the cake and uncovered a tiny raven. Oh, she said softly. The bird stretched out his scrawny neck. Ugh! He crowed again. Hello yourself, Annie said, smiling. She stroked the downy feathers on the creature's head. Then she looked up at Jack. How did you come up with that rhyme? It just came to me, said Jack. I knew I had to save Rock, but I didn't want to hurt the Raven King. I think I actually felt sorry for him. So you helped him finally get what he wanted, said Annie. You turned him into a baby raven. Yeah, Jack said. Now he can live his whole life as a bird. Rock flew to the window ledge. He looked around at the other ravens. It was clear he had become their new leader. Grow, grow, Rock crowed. He stepped aside. The ravens' troop began to leave the nursery. One by one, 2 of them escorted the new member of their flock as the timberling flapped his small wings. Rock was the last to leave. He stared at Annie and Jack with a long gaze, then lifted off the window ledge and flew away into the light of the silver dawn. Alright, so that was chapter 11 of this book. And then tomorrow we'll get into chapter 12. And I will do my best to get up early enough so I can record it and everything. Because tomorrow I'm back to work. Alright, so since it's 21st and we are 10 days away from Halloween, time to get into our other story, Countdown to Halloween. Let's get started. 10 pumpkins in a row. It's the last day of October. There are pumpkins all around, 10 rows of them to be exact, spread out across the ground. But there are more pumpkins than ever. They're just saying that there's 10 pumpkins that are each row. And that is so cool. Alright, so we did 10 pumpkins in the countdown of Halloween. I hope you enjoyed this double story. In the meantime, this is T.I.E saying, Happy Halloween! Bye!